has been hijacked.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another classic film review. Today's classic film review is for the 1997 action thriller Air Force One, a film that is directed by the always reliable Wolfgang Peterson, and it stars Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman, Glenn Close, William H. Macy, Dean Stockwell, and it was something of a box office hit at the time, and it focuses on, well, Air Force One, as we know, is the official presidential plane for the US president. And we see at the beginning of this film that Harrison Ford, who plays the president of the United States, is in Russia. He gives this very inspiring speech. There has been like a Russian general that has recently been captured who was threatening to, do like a coup in Russia and take over and all this kind of stuff. But he's behind bars now, and some of that is thanks to the US president, played by Harrison Ford. So he gives this rousing speech. He gets back on Air Force One, heading home. However, posing as journalists is Gary Oldman and his team of Russian terrorists, who have plans to take over Air Force One and ensure that their comrade, their general, is released from prison so that the coup could take place. Right, what are my thoughts on Air Force One? Well, this film is really, really fun. I've just recently watched it to do this review, and it's a good decade since I've seen it, probably. I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it had really, really stood the test of time as well. I mean, it was really entertaining. It was Harrison Ford at the height of his career, in the prime, really, of his career here. And it just delivered on every level in regards to action, fun, premise. I mean, it was at the time as well where Die Hard clones, which this film is essentially, it's a Die Hard clone, were rife. They were literally coming out. There were 1, 2, 3 a year. You know what I mean? Coming out, and you had Passenger 57 on a plane. You had obviously Under Siege on a boat. Sudden Death in an ice ring. I mean, there were literally Die Hard clones everywhere you could look in the 90s. And this, for me, is easily one of the best. And that's down really to, I was about to say 2 reasons, but it's 3 reasons, really. That's Harrison Ford, who can play these heroic roles blindfolded. And he actually, obviously, he carries off this film brilliantly in regards to his physical performance. But his performance as the American president as well is really very excellent. You know what I mean? You believed he was the American president when you watched it. His performance was very, very good, and he carried the film brilliantly, as he always does when he's a leading man, Harrison Ford. Glenn Close, Glenn Close is excellent in the film. She plays like the vice president. So while this is all going off in the air, you've got Glenn Close and the people in the American office down on the ground debating what to do, etc., etc. But what I meant to say was Gary Oldman is the second reason. He was in the 90s the singular choice, really, for like the bad guy in movies. He made that role his own in the 90s. I obviously stepped away from that now, but he still does dabble in the odd bad guy role. But he's brilliant as this Russian terrorist. Absolutely ruthless. He's happy to kill hostages in a heartbeat, and he just, even though they don't share many scenes together, Gary Oldman and Harrison Ford, when they do, it's absolutely electric. Really, really good, and full commitment by both the actors, physically and in regards to their acting performances. Really, really good choices for the 2 leading roles here. And Wolfgang Peterson, who for me is one of the most underrated directors. He always delivers. His films are always top quality. And his absolute specialty is the action thriller. He knows how to handle a big budget film. He knows how to handle action sequences, but he also knows how to get great performances from actors. So for me, he absolutely nails this film, Wolfgang Peterson. And it's a thoroughly entertaining film that keeps you on the edge of your seat. It moves along at a nice pace. You've got, you've got your hero to root for, you've got your villains to hate, and you've also got like the sleeper agent. I mean, there's a who is it? Xander Berkeley, who plays like this evil Secret Service agent that kind of allows the plane to be taken over at the beginning. You see it right at the beginning. So you've got, the guy hiding in the background as well, who's evil, and that all plays out brilliantly. Even William H. Macy, who was a really good actor. Initially, when you see him playing like this general and this heroic character, you don't initially buy it, but he really pulls it off. Everything about this film absolutely works for me, and it's a really, really entertaining film with some great effects. And the final sequence, the exciting sequence, where he's battling Gary Oldman and the terrorists, and then these planes try and take down Air Force One. I mean, literally, it's like a fairground ride. You're clinging on with your fingertips watching that sequence. It's very, very entertaining. Some little trivia bits for the film now that I've found out researching the film. Apparently, Donald Trump is a big fan of this film. He even actually used the music when he won the election in 2015 and he walked out on stage. Apparently, his music that was playing was the music from this film. He complimented the film when in 2015 or 2016, something like that. And when Harrison Ford was asked in an interview his thoughts on that, he basically looked at the screen. He says, "It's only a film, Donald. These things don't happen in real life," which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Kevin Costner was initially going to star in the film and he couldn't do it. Some other names that were in the running for the film, or certainly mentioned, were Arnie, believe it or not, Dennis Quaid, Tom Hanks, and Tommy Lee Jones. Bill Clinton, who was the current president when this film came out, absolutely loved the film apparently as well. He saw it a couple of times. And Wolfgang Peterson initially couldn't get access to the real Air Force One. So up stepped Harrison Ford with a phone call to the White House, and then they were given access to Air Force One following Harrison Ford's involvement. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's a trivia that I picked up while researching it, so take it or leave it if you like. So yeah, really, really fun, entertaining film. One of those 90s action films that still works today, still highly entertaining, still very, very watchable. And if you haven't seen it and you like a good Die Hard clone, this is definitely one of the best on the market. So don't forget to check this one out. So thanks very much for watching this classic film review. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back, of course, with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.